Hello everyone, Miss Kim here. A special hi to all the 4K kids out in South Carolina and to my grandson Colton. Today I'm going to read a story that is part of the building study, so many of you may have already heard it, but it's a real fun book, and as you can see, it's one of my favorites because it's very worn. I've read this one a lot to my kids and my preschoolers. The story is The True Story of the Three Little Pigs, as told by John Skiska and illustrated by Lane Smith. So it's the true story of the Three Little Pigs. What do you think? We've all heard the Three Little Pigs story, but I wonder what the wolf has to say. Let's find out. The True Story of the Three Little Pigs by A. Wolf. So they're writing it like the wolf is the one writing it. So we're going to pretend that the wolf is the one talking to us. Everybody knows the story of the Three Little Pigs, or at least they think they do. But I'll let you in on a little secret. Nobody knows the real story because nobody has ever heard my side of the story. Wonder how the wolf's side will be different than the pig's. I am the wolf, Alexander T. Wolf. You can call me Al. I don't know how this big bad wolf thing got started, but it's all wrong. Maybe it's because of our diet. Hey, it's not my fault wolves eat cute little animals like bunnies and sheep and pigs. That's just the way we are. If cheeseburgers were cute, folks would probably think you were big and bad too. One thing I love about this book is the pictures. You look closely at the cheeseburger. What is sticking out of it? I don't think it's a cheeseburger I would ever want to eat. Look. I see little tails and ears. That's something a wolf might eat, but not me. How about you? But like I was saying, the whole big bad wolf thing is all wrong. The real story is about a sneeze and a cup of sugar. This is the real story. Way back in Once Upon a Time, I was making a birthday cake for my dear old granny. I had a terrible sneezing cold and I ran out of sugar. So he's making a cake for his granny. Again, look at that cake mix. Definitely not something I would eat. That's a wolf cake mix. So I walked down the street to ask my neighbor for a cup of sugar. Now, this neighbor was a pig, and he wasn't too bright either. He had built his whole house out of straw. Can you believe it? I mean, who in his right mind builds a house out of straw? There's the wolf walking to the neighbors. So, of course, the minute I knocked on the door, it fell right in. I didn't just want to walk into somebody else's house, so I called, "Little pig, are you in?" No answer. I was just about to go home without my cup of sugar for my dear old granny's birthday cake. That's when my nose started to itch. I felt a sneeze coming on. Well, I huffed and I snuffed. And I sneezed a great sneeze. What do you think happened to the house? And you know what? The whole darn straw house fell down, and right in the middle of the pile of straw was the first little pig, dead as a doornail. He had been home the whole time. It felt like a shame to leave a perfectly good ham dinner lying around there in the straw, so I ate it up. Think of it as a big cheeseburger just lying there. So the wolf says he sneezed, and that's how the house blew in. The little pigs don't say that, do they? They said he huffed and puffed and did it on purpose. I wonder which story is right. I was feeling a little better, but I still didn't have my cup of sugar. So I went to the next neighbor's house. This neighbor was the first little pig's brother. He was a little smarter, but not by much. He had built his house of sticks. I rang the doorbell on the stick house. Nobody answered. I called, Mr. Pig, are you in?" He yelled back, "Go away, wolf. You can't come in. I'm shaving the hairs on my chinny chin chin." That's funny. See his little hairs? I just grabbed the doorknob when I felt another sneeze coming on. I huffed and I snuffed and I tried to cover my mouth, but I sneezed a great sneeze. You're not going to believe it, but this guy's house fell down just like his brother's. When the dust cleared, there was a second little pig. Dead as a doornail. Wolf's honor. The wolf says he's telling the truth, but I just don't know. What do you think? Now, you know food will spoil if you just leave it out in the open. So I did the only thing there was to do. I had dinner again. Think of it as a second helping. I was getting awfully full, but my cold was feeling a little better, and I still didn't have the cup of sugar for my dear old granny's birthday cake. So I went to the next house. This guy was the first and second little pig's brother. He must have been the brains of the family. He built his house out of brick. I knocked on the brick house. No answer. I called, Mr. Pig, are you in? And do you know what that rude little porker answered? Get out of here, wolf. Don't bother me again. So the wolf says the pigs were rude. Talk about impolite. He probably had a whole sack full of sugar and he wouldn't even give me a cup for my dear sweet old granny's birthday cake. What a pig. I was just about to leave and go home and maybe have a nice birthday card instead of a cake when I felt my cold coming on. I huffed and I snuffed and I sneezed once again. Then the third little pig yelled, and your old granny can sit on a pin. His sneeze didn't blow the house down this time, did it? The bricks were stronger. Now, I'm usually a pretty calm fellow, but when somebody talks about my granny like that, I go a little crazy. When the cops drove up, of course, I was trying to break down this pig's door, and the whole time I was huffing and puffing and sneezing and making a real scene. Here come the cops. The policemen are coming up to see what this wolf is doing. The rest, as they say, is history. The news reporters found out about the two pigs I had for dinner. They figured a sick guy going to borrow a cup of sugar didn't sound very exciting. So they jazzed up the story with all that huff and puff and blow your house down, and they made me the big bad wolf. That's it. The real story. I was framed. So what do you guys think? Do you think he's telling the truth or the little pigs were telling the truth? But maybe you could loan me a cup of sugar. He's still trying to get that cup of sugar, isn't he? All right. Well, I know many of you have heard that story before, but I hope you enjoyed it again. Always a fun way to enjoy a classic story like Three Little Pigs is to hear it from another version. So I welcome you to do that with other stories you're reading with the kids. See how it would look if you took it from a different perspective from someone else in the story. All right. Everyone have a great day, and I look forward to seeing you again soon. Thank you. Bye-bye.